Welcome to KMET 1490 AM ABC News Radio and the Southern California Business Report with Yvette Walker, a show dedicated to highlighting successful Southern California businesses and the people behind them.
Welcome and thank you for joining the Southern California Business Report on ABC News and Talks, KMET 1490 AM, 98.1 FM, and KMET TV. I'm Yvette Walker, live, blasting our signal from the center of Southern California, serving a population of over 25 million. Get us crystal clear and on demand by downloading the free live streaming app on Google Play or the Apple App Store. And as always, a huge shout out to the team, Mitch, Bill, and Sean. I love you guys. And to our special advisory committee, check them out on scbrtalk.com advisory committee. Today, everybody, I have the distinct privilege to introduce Michael G. Rademaker and Dana Rademaker. Michael G. Rademaker is founder and CEO of MGR Property Management, MGR Real Estate, and MGR Services, all businesses based in the Inland Empire. Michael first entered the real estate market at 19 years old, fueled by an insatiable desire to learn and commitment to provide a unique yet superior product for his clients. Michael is no stranger to the Inland Empire and now owns and operates one of the leading residential and commercial real estate sales, leasing, and management companies in Southern California. With a real estate investment portfolio and remarkable growth in Ontario, Victorville, Carlsbad, and beyond, watch out for MGR and Dana Rademaker. She joined MGR Property Management in 2012 and serves the company as a broker associate and president. Dana is a key strategic liaison between the management team and both existing and potential clientele. She is dedicated to building and managing communication among industry leaders and organizations. Her responsibilities include, but are not limited to, office management, public relations coordination, and outreach strategies. Her dedication and enthusiasm to MGR Property Management and its growth has been invaluable. Rademaker holds a bachelor's degree in business management from San Diego State University and is a designated certified community association manager. Thank you both so much for being with us here today.
You're welcome.
Oh, beautiful. All right. So let's start. Okay. Michael, you've been on the program in the past. Please give us, just a brief overview of your journey of what inspired you to pursue property management, commercial real estate, all of the services that you conduct under MGR Services today.
I think it started a long time ago. I got into real estate like many people at a young age, and I started selling real estate, and I thought I was pretty successful at it. I bought a couple rental properties, and again, I thought I was pretty good at it. One day I got a notice in the mail that I was a little behind in my mortgage payment, so I called my management company just to find out that they told me everything was fine. Went out to my duplex out there on Norman Road. I found out that both units were vacant, the windows were busted out, and the management company hadn't been there in a long time.
Oh.
I came to the conclusion I could probably manage my own property a little bit easier. As I have decided to manage it myself, and I stopped complaining about my rentals, more friends started asking me why I wasn't complaining. I said I was doing it myself. Well, that led to thousands of houses, apartments, millions of feet of commercial office, and now over 120 owners associations that we manage in Southern California. I contribute that probably to my team more than me, and for the dedication and support of just everybody. The community itself has been phenomenal to me.
Beautiful. And now you've brought Dana up. Dana, please talk a little bit about your journey alongside your father at MGR and tell us a little bit about, what inspired you to pursue the same field.
I think I've always been exposed and familiar with the industry. I even remember growing up, we'd be driving to Disneyland and we would have to stop by a property on the way to Disneyland and look at the inspection and look at the bush. I'd be like 4 or 5 years old and would have to point out things wrong with the property. And so it's something I've always been exposed to, and it very much feeds to my natural skills, my management skills, my people skills. All of those things just came to me naturally. So it was a very smooth, organic fit. And I have obviously an awesome mentor who has given me great opportunities here and taught me a lot about the properties and about the industry and everything overall. So it was always a natural fit for me.
And it's beautiful. You know, you talk about a drive to Disneyland, and I can only imagine the number of MGR signs you saw along the way, because there's nobody in Southern California that can drive through any of the roads that doesn't see the big blue and white MGR, services at basically every commercial property. So it must have been very exciting for you to see all of that, as you're growing up, basically all around you. But I love that you were involved at that young of an age, at 5 years at 5 years old, pointing out different things that can be improved on the property. I think that's really neat. So now we're going to jump into it because you are in the commercial real estate business, and there are a lot of questions surrounding that. So, Mr. Rademaker, please talk about what's happening in the commercial real estate world today, and what are some of the biggest changes occurring?
Well, I think the pandemic kind of changed the world probably forever. Everybody all of a sudden one day woke up and had to work from home. And quite frankly, a lot of people enjoyed it. Companies maybe didn't enjoy it as much as the employees did. I think it was sometimes difficult to expect the employees to work from home when they had the dog, the cat, the neighbor, the wife, the kids, and everybody else there. But somehow we all made it work as a country because we had no choices. Now companies are realizing that their efficiency isn't what they were hoping it would be, and they're trying to call their employees back to work. Of course, the employers think it's a great idea, and quite frankly, the employees all think it's a really not so good idea. They would all prefer to work from home, and they're talking about how the efficiency hasn't changed. I think we'll end up probably coming up with a compromise in the middle. Employers need their people back in the office. They need the camaraderie, they need the teamwork, they need the synergy of what happens in a team. But they also need to realize that people got used to taking their kids to the doctor during the week. They got used to maybe shopping when it wasn't so busy. They got used to not having as much traffic or congestion. So I think one of the formulas that will bring people back to the workplace will be what's called the 4-10 work week, where employers will offer a 10-hour day, 4 days a week. They get the 40 hours they need, and the employee gets the 3 days off, whether that be they take Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday, or they take Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, whatever days works for them and their employer. I think the 4-10 work week will be a tremendous compromise to everything, including our family values.
Absolutely. And I understand what you're saying, especially, for businesses that work with time sensitive projects or creative projects, manufacturing, actually across the line. It's, that social element is truly a critical part of, creativity, collaboration, and working together. Dana, please talk a little bit about your thoughts about the 4-day, 10-hour format that is looking attractive to the workforce today.
Right. And exactly like he mentioned, I think it's a compromise that is meant to be beneficial to both the employer and the employee. I think that right now people are pushing for that kind of change in the market with regards to those relationships with their work balance. And I think that's a benefit to the overall community, because with the commercial market and everything, we're always going to need office space. You're always going to need people to physically be in work. You can't always do a doctor's exam remotely. You can't always do certain class activities remotely, things like that. And so if you're able to find a compromise that is a better balance for both sides of the coin, and you're able to have that camaraderie of your team together, I think that says a lot for what the industry is moving towards. And industries are always moving across any industry. And right now, this is just a compromise of one of several that is working well for employers.
Right. And it all boils down to evolution, right? And different factors are going to impact how we evolve in every aspect of life, right? And today we're talking about real estate and how that looks in the future, and how, bringing those workforce employees together will look moving forward. So, Mr. Rademaker, are there other adjustments or changes you see coming ahead in the commercial real estate market?
Yeah, I think the biggest adjustment I've had to do was the adjustment to listen. Running a company for all these years, I have all these great words of wisdom about the 4-10 work week. But until my daughter explained why that was going to be the way it was going to be, I don't think I was as open-minded as I should. So I think all of us has to look at what is ahead of us. Some of the office buildings that were built will most likely be demolished and replaced for other buildings or apartment complexes because they're older, not as efficient, maybe single or two-story, lots of land, and the land's become more valuable than the building. In some cases, nicer buildings may end up being converted to apartments. Or in other cases, the buildings might be converted to a complete work, live, play type of environment where you have restaurants on an upper store, you have apartments or condo living in between, and office and retail on the lower levels. This will be the movement, I think, that a lot of what's going to happen, specifically in the Inland Empire in Orange County. Some of our other markets, LA, San Diego, are a little bit different because of the age of the properties and the size. And I think that we're benefiting from a little bit of an exit out of those markets at this time. So there's going to be a lot of changes, and the cities and the owners and the developers have to pay attention, but we have to also look down a little bit in the years and listen to the younger people that are coming up in the workforce. Because if the seniors don't listen to the juniors, we have a problem.
That's true. And a lot of that, is just bridging the gap and laying down the groundwork and the foundation for, the future workforce to make it sustainable, right? And actually, I love the fact that this new evolution is taking into account the opportunity to create mixed use projects, right? And address that housing crisis that we have in California, affordable housing crisis. I should actually specify affordable housing crisis that we have in California. Dana, what are your thoughts on that with the mixed use, looking at an option for commercial real estate owners that may not have the occupancy rate that MGR enjoys today?
I think that a lot of times it's about being creative and listening, exactly like Mike said, to what is going on in the economy. What are some of the challenges that you're having with meeting your occupancy requirements? And sometimes there are creative solutions as well, too. So if you're interested in converting a space to being mixed use, where you can enter retail, something that we've done creatively at some of our spaces as well is renting out space, even just for a couple hours for a day, renting out classrooms, renting out those type of items, and being able to utilize some of that available office space. I think sometimes there are creative solutions such as that where you don't necessarily just need to push more tenants, more a constant occupancy and everything. There's different flows and streams that you can get to get that occupancy more useful.
Absolutely. And that's really what it boils down to in this environment, right? Is learning to adapt. How quickly can you adapt? How quickly can you meet the new needs of, the environment and the landscape? And again, that boils down to evolution. And I always like to compare it to Darwinism, right? Which explains your wild success to date with nearly 5 decades of commercial property investment, management, and services, and so much more. So it's truly a testament to what it is that you do, and the fact that you are able to examine it this way and meet those needs and be creative, be flexible. I think is just another indicator of how far you're going to move in the future. And what has the response been from tenants that are, looking for more flexible avenues to move forward, such as, the rentals or the classrooms that you indicated, Dana?
What are the tenants' responses to it?
Yes.
Pretty positive, because it really allows them to utilize that space as well too, and allow them to be more creative in their strategies. For example, if somebody maybe onboards a large new team, that allows them to have a space to offer a training center. And it's very close to where their team is, and they can rent it directly through us as their management company, or they can rent it from us even if they're not one of our current tenants. And so it gives them that flexibility to do that. Like, it's been used before for religious gatherings or for company events, like having a Thanksgiving lunch and things like that. So they appreciate that flexibility too, because it also allots them that same flexibility with their staff and having a meeting place for them.
I love it. And so, Mr. Rademaker, during this transition following the pandemic, have you noticed a difference in demand for commercial space in the Inland Empire, which is Riverside and San Bernardino counties, versus surrounding areas?
Not, I've not really seen a problem. I keep reading in the newspaper about how the office market's in trouble. I keep reading about how there's vacancies, and keep going out to my buildings and my parking lots, and they're pretty full. So I really haven't seen the big problems that we're talking about in occupancy. But we also live in some really beautiful part of the country, and a lot of people want to live in the Inland Empire. I'm not trying to boast it, but it is affordable in comparison to Orange County and LA, and it's very safe in comparison. So I think a lot of the younger generations and are moving out this way back to where their families were, where it's affordable and safe. So I've not seen the problems that other people talk about. I mean, I've seen the normal business challenges, the same challenges as I had before the pandemic. If you don't give a good product at a good price, you have a vacancy problem. If you treat your tenants good and you give a good product, you're pretty full. So we haven't seen the problems that others have seen yet, and I hope we don't.
Wonderful. So, Dana, as a young professional, what are some things that encourage you about living and working in the Inland Empire?
I think that the Inland Empire is objectively seeing a lot of growth right now. And with a lot of growth are coming those opportunities. In areas like Orange County, LA County, San Diego County, they are growing at a standard rate. And yes, those opportunities are available, but with the rapid growth that we're experiencing in the Inland Empire, those positions, those availabilities, those job opportunities are growing as rapidly as well, too. So there's more of those opportunities to find what you're looking for professionally as well, too. And a lot of businesses know that they have employees and team members in Los Angeles, Orange County, et cetera, that are commuting from the Inland Empire, and they're moving into office spaces, professional spaces out here as well, too. So there are many opportunities that are available in the Inland Empire that you may be looking for anywhere else.
Beautiful. So, Mr. Rademaker, what has past sentiment been in relation to living and working in the Inland Empire? You know, you've been here for nearly 5 decades. You had a vision, you acted on it, and now you are one of the largest property owners in the region, commercial, residential, and, you know, all of the above, as you mentioned, the properties that you manage as well. Please talk a little bit about what the past sentiment has been in your experience in relation to living and working in the Inland Empire.
You know, I remember moving out here when I was in high school from Huntington Beach, and quite honestly, when my parents decided to take me to the Inland Empire into a city called Montclair, I wasn't the happiest camper in town. I ended up staying here, and as the time goes by, I kept hearing stories about how Kaiser one day was going to close down and the smog wasn't going to be so bad. And then I was also told that there was mountains right here locally in town that one day we would see again, which we didn't see in the 70s.
Wow.
Ironically, the area continued to improve, and I was told about the 210 freeway. Well, that never came. And then one day it did. Then I was told that the freeways were going to expand. They did. Buildings started getting built. Homes started getting built. Phenomenal malls were getting built. Great restaurants have been coming into town. And quite frankly, everybody had a startling conclusion. Why would I want to drive all the way to LA and Orange County and spend 2 hours because the only place I can afford is to live is the Inland Empire? Why don't I live, work, and play in my own town? We are competition to LA and Orange. People do want to live and work in the Inland Empire. And quite frankly, you know, I'm pretty happy here. And I've met some great people. And even though I like to go to Orange County, it's better to visit, not live there.
I understand that. And, you know, so my experience with the Inland Empire has been that, you know, people don't really understand or appreciate the landscape that has grown and evolved over the decades. And a good friend of mine and president of the University of Laverne, Dr. Devorah Lieberman, has made it her mission to enact philosophy calling brain remain, meaning to do whatever we can to keep those intellectual gold mines here local instead of having our youth, you know, leave and disperse throughout either California or other parts of the country. So Dana, you kind of fit in that model in the sense that you may not have initially seen your career path or your future in the Inland Empire, but because of, like you mentioned, your objective view of the growth, you're here today. Of all the places you can be in the world, you're here today working, supporting Mike and MGR and taking the company to the next level. So, Dana, please talk a bit about how working alongside your father, Mike, has shaped or reshaped your view of the region.
Right. I think it's definitely reshaped my view of the region. When I first graduated high school, I left and went to San Diego State. I love San Diego State, nothing but good things to say about it. But I did eventually end up returning professionally here because that's where I just found the most opportunities. I think when I was younger and I was exploring my professional opportunities, I didn't understand the economic landscapes of honestly much of anywhere at that age kind of thing. I didn't understand like what was available to me. And I did even live in Orange County for a while. And as I spent more time out there, as I spent more time away, I saw a lot of industries moving their work here. I even went and met an industry friend that also I attended San Diego State with a few weeks ago. And she lives in Orange County. And she was telling me about her company, how they're consulting on all these projects in Fontana and Riverside County and all of these different areas. But she's living out there. So even from there, she is working on projects out here. And she agreed that things are pushing this direction. And so I think people are seeing that and people are making that move and it's available here. And the more you know here, the better you know the area, the better you're able to navigate and benefit from that landscape.
Beautiful. That is absolutely true. So we are coming on a break here. So stick around, everybody. I'm Yvette Walker with ABC News and Talk, Southern California Business Report with Michael and Dana Rademaker of MGR Services, a commercial and residential owner, investor, and property manager with properties throughout Southern California and nearly 5 decades of CRE experience and market-leading property options, allowing it to be at the center of where people live, work, and play when we return.
Every 2 seconds, someone needs a blood transfusion. Be on the giving side. Livestream Blood Bank supports patients in 80 Southern California hospitals. Call 1-800-TRY-GIVING for more information and to set an appointment.
Hi, Ray Lance from the Diamond Center in the Claremont Village here. One of the coolest parts of a third-generation family business is getting to know the families we serve through generations. Once you experience our friendly service, our fair and transparent pricing, and our beautiful jewelry that we make to last a lifetime, you'll stick with us too. Come visit us in the Claremont Village or at Lantz, L-A-N-T-Z, diamondcenter.com and see what makes us different.
Cal State San Bernardino is home to the only school of entrepreneurship in California. With globally ranked degree programs, you can start your journey today to become a successful entrepreneur. Learn more and connect at entre.csusb.edu.
Ontario International Airport is onto a better way to fly with over 65 daily nonstop flights to more than 20 major destinations and the easiest airport experience in Southern California. Visit flyonto.com/Ontario to learn more about Ontario International Airport today.
City of Hope is driven to making a difference in the lives of people with cancer and diabetes. We accomplish this by conducting innovative research and providing outstanding care. If you or a loved one has received a cancer diagnosis, go to cityofhope.org to learn more about how our innovative approach could change your outcome.
The University of La Verne is rated first in California for alumni satisfaction. Learn more about accelerated programs offered online and on campus in La Verne, Irvine, Ontario, Burbank, or College of the Canyons. Visit go.laverne.edu. The University of La Verne. go.laverne.edu.
Hi, I'm San Bernardino County Sheriff Shannon Dykes. If you're looking to start an exciting career in law enforcement and make a difference in your community, we are hiring dispatchers, nurses, deputies, laterals, and many more. For a complete list of our jobs and more information, visit sheriffsjobs.com.
Welcome back. For those listening, I'm Yvette Walker with ABC News and Talk, Southern California Business Report, with Michael and Dana Rademaker of MGR, a commercial and residential owner, investor, and property manager with properties throughout Southern California and nearly 5 decades of CRE experience and market-leading property options, allowing it to be at the center of where people live, work, and play. Thank you again for being with us today, Mr. Rademaker and Dana.
Thank you.
Beautiful. So before the break, we talked a little bit about what makes the Inland Empire, being Riverside and San Bernardino counties, unique, what the landscape looks like today in relation to surrounding communities, and how working in the environment has reshaped Dana's view of the opportunities to live, work, and play in the region, given the fact that she's very young and she is basically a representation of the next generation of working professionals that may or may not know or understand what is happening in the Inland Empire. So thank you for sharing all of that. And, I want to ask you, Mr. Rademaker, please talk a bit about what makes MGR unique in its offering to its clients.
Our youth. Many times as I was growing through the company, I was the youth in town. I was the young brainchild. I was this, I was that. Then all of a sudden, one day, people started asking me, what's my legacy plan? As people start talking about me being around almost, what do you call it, 5 decades almost?
Nearly.
Boy, that makes me sound really old. So I came up to the startling realization that, maybe I'm into my second half. So, I'm going into the third quarter, so I figured that maybe it'd be a good time for me to have a little more responsibility given to my staff. Dana, obviously being my daughter, earned that right, but she's still my daughter. And we have a diverse group of people ranging from 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and even some as old as me in the 60s that lead and guide our company. So I think that what makes us special is that we listen, and that we have a lot of different age groups and a lot of different mentalities. And the fact that, we're now being led by somebody who's much younger than me and allowing me to enter my second career.
And what is your second career, Mr. Rademaker?
The dream that everybody has. A lot of times when you run a successful company, you always say, I really wish that I could have started at the top. I could have this, I could have that. So by telling my daughter, take the company basically, and I'll work here, but this company is yours, it's freed me up to do what I really want to do. I want to acquire other companies to help us grow. I want to spend a little bit of time working on development, mixed-use projects from the ground up. Spend a little bit of time working with various charities and organizations, and also maybe be able to spend a little bit of time on my personal life, something that suffered a lot in the first 5 decades.
So in the first half, so you're going to have a whole second half to catch up.
Oh yeah, I've got the second half with the benefit of my contacts, my friends, and maybe a little extra money in the savings account. So the second half should be a lot more fun, and definitely not as challenging as the first half.
Right. Well, with that said, Dana, what does your day-to-day look like, and how do you prepare to lead such a diverse organization?
I'd like to be able to predict my day to day, but sometimes something just comes up. Yesterday, I don't think I addressed any of the main items on my to-do list because there was a property emergency kind of thing. And you know what? That's what we're about, is we jump in and give all of our resources that we can to address it. And so sometimes there's something that comes up and we have to be able to address that. But day to day, it's about working with my team, asking them, what do you need? What's going on at this property? What kind of resources do you need to be able to complete that project, accomplish that goal, that kind of thing, and providing it to them. And also being aware of what's going on with the industry, and especially with technology, what kinds of things we can do with our software, what can we automate, how can we utilize it to make our staff more empowered in what their job is as well. And the project of implementing it, because that's also a project too on top of the properties. So my responsibility is really about empowering the property managers and our general staff to be able to do their job effectively.
Beautiful. So, Mr. Rademaker, as Dana, as you pass the baton to Dana, what is the most important element in her career moving forward? What would you say that is?
To tell the truth. Don't lie to your clients. Don't lie to your tenants. Don't lie to your clients. If you tell them the truth, good times and bad, they'll stick at your side. And so I guess that's the best advice I can give her.
And that's served you, correct? Please talk a little bit about how that.
For almost 5 decades, as you said.
Yes. So give us an example of how that has served you and when that really was a staple for your philosophy moving forward.
I think you get busy in life. You get busy in business, and everybody does. And it's so difficult to remember everything that's going on. And I've often found myself in a situation to where, people try to get you to estimate and give this and give that recommendation. And you try to sometimes make the mistake of telling them what they want to hear. But then you have to remember what you told them. If you just tell the truth, if you don't know, you say you don't know. If you say interest rates might go up, interest might go up. If you say prices might change, they might change. Because every time you look up the answer, it's the exact same thing. So where it served me well is I don't have to be really super smart. I don't have to remember everything. Because when somebody asks me something, all I have to do is answer the truth or look the truth up, and I don't have to worry about it. So I guess my best advice is if I tell the truth, I don't have to remember much and be that smart. I can just be a happy, successful business person and answer the truth when asked.
And
Never
you build
changes.
that. That's right. And you build that trust and that rapport and that reputation as being that person.
Absolutely. Most of my clients have been with me for many, many years, and we laugh and we joke about the good times and the bad, the good economies and the bad economies. But we always know that we work together, and I add new clients every year, and I don't lose very many. Life has been pretty good. I really cannot complain. The Inland Empire has been good to me. My people, my staff has been good. Bringing my daughter up and giving youth on our team has been wonderful. She helped me acquire, a large interest in another management company out in Rancho Mirage this last couple of weeks, which without her, I probably wouldn't have done. We opened a new office in Newport within the last 6 months. Without her, I probably wouldn't have done it. So, we're now up to five offices, and we're continuing to expand in what some people think is a recession. And I like I say, I just don't see the recession. I just see if you work hard, the results are good.
That's exactly right. And it all boils down to establishing that reputation and tenants and clients really knowing what they're getting when they go to MGR, right? And that all has to do with your reputation and like you said, telling the truth, giving those tenants, those clients the proper resources and respect and outlook to make the right decisions for them. And ultimately, it's all boils down to sustainability, right? Because if you tell them one thing and the reality is something else, you probably won't have a tenant for very long anyway, right?
They get mad at you.
Right. Well, not only do they get mad at you, but it may be unsustainable and it may just not work out for their bottom line anyway, right? And so, Dana, what advice or experience has made the greatest impact on you and your efforts moving forward with MGR?
I would say that an advice I've gotten and advice I would give to anybody is to listen, to just be a very good listener, because even though you may be smart, you may have knowledge to provide, you may have positive insight, your insight only becomes stronger by listening to what other people's insight is too. 2 brains is better than 1, 3, 4, etc. kind of thing. And the more that you can absorb like a sponge, then the stronger your information and your output can be. Not everything that is said in the world is something that you do want to absorb or anything like that, but it's important to be able to listen to it, be able to filter it and understand what applies to you professionally, personally, etc., to be able to implement that in your world.
I love it. And so of the opportunities that you've had to date, what areas do you enjoy most?
I really enjoy working with communities like associations, apartment complexes, things like that. I enjoy what they provide, the amenities, the activities, the everything that we do for them, because at that point it's more than just the single residence. It's managing an entire community of people. And I enjoy that. I think there's a lot of reward, like a personal reward to that.
So you enjoy the personal interaction and the community feeling from those HOA management clients?
Yes, I enjoy, the community that you create, even when you just, if maybe you have a 55 plus community and you have events in your clubhouse for them that cater to that community, or if you do events about like the safety in your community. We've done something called Night Out before, where we've had local firemen, policemen, and everyone come out to the property and just talk about what their services are in the city, specific to the city and their property. We had one apartment complex a while ago where all of the tenants kind of just brought out their various trades. One was a belly dancer, and she was belly dancing, and another woman was a face painter and was doing face painting there. And we brought out food and everything, and just bringing that community together for the residents.
Oh, I love that. Mr. Rademaker, can you share a bit about what the holdings of MGR look like in relation to residential, office, retail, etc.? How does that distribution look like?
Well, currently, we're probably extremely large personally as a family in holdings for Class A office buildings. We're one of the largest owners of Class A office buildings in the Ontario marketplace, and we continue to increase that platform and business thing. That being said, we are now spending a lot more of our time and energy looking at the mixed-use component as well as the addition of apartments into our portfolio. Mixed use is something that I first experienced when I visited Paris with my daughter, when I saw it real live, and it was interesting to me. When I got a place in Huntington Beach and I realized I could park my car there on Friday and do nothing till Monday, I like that. I'd like to bring that to the Inland Empire. I'd like to bring that concept out here and make it something where it is fun, it is nice, and driving a car becomes optional. You don't really need a car. I think that's my goal and objective, and I want to develop a lot of my energies and efforts in my second half of my career into mixed-use apartments and creating the family values and environment that I think is so important, and also probably inlined very deeply into the Inland Empire. So I want to try to make a little mark in that part of the industry if there's room.
I love that, because you're exactly right. I've been in the Inland Empire for just over 20 years now. And, when you talk about that work, life, family balance, it's all conducive and it's all relatable to the Inland Empire, and why I feel extremely blessed to be raising my 3 children here, because work-life balance, like you said, the proximity to everything, restaurants, entertainment, economic opportunities, it's all here. So, Dana, what would you tell others growing up in the Inland Empire that may not be as aware or familiar with what's happening economically here today?
I would say to give it a try. Go out there, find something that you're interested in, and see where it takes you here. There are a lot of opportunities here. There are a lot of great things that you can do directly in the Inland Empire. And I think that people will be able to find those. And I think they constantly pop up. There's more and more of them coming up constantly. And we're even getting more recreational activities because of it. We're getting Top Golf. We have the bullet train coming. Like, all of that stuff is creating jobs, creating opportunities, and creating reasons for more jobs and businesses to come out here. I think that if you were to spend the time and actually start putting yourself out there, because I think that's sometimes a challenge too when you're young. I think it seems easier in other types of markets, but I think if you were to actually take those steps of putting yourself out there professionally, that you'll see a lot of opportunities and hopefully be receptive to them.
I love it. And so, Mr. Rademaker, we just talked about, and you just mentioned the exceptional work-life balance and opportunities that exist in the Inland Empire. And so when you were a 19-year-old, starting to purchase your first investment property, and you had a vision for the region. Please tell us if the region has lived up to your vision and your expectations of what you were hoping to see in the Inland Empire as a young professional, forging their path forward in their career.
I think when I started at 19, I started in the Inland Empire, and I probably just didn't know any better. I grew up here. I started selling real estate here. I started buying real estate here, and I started liking it. I don't think there was ever even an option for me to think that I was going to go down to Orange County or go into LA and try to compete with those big 500-pound, 600-pound gorillas. I decided that I was just going to stay out here where everybody was a little bit easier to work with. And then somehow, after buying a bunch of properties, I ended up being the 600-pound gorilla out here, which is kind of a nice feeling. We talk a little bit about the work-live environment, and there is a secret to keeping the workers here in the Inland Empire, and this is something that all the employers should listen to. Over the years, we've always known that somebody working in LA makes more money than somebody working in the Inland Empire. That companies pay more because they know they have to travel. Fact of life. What if companies just paid the same amount of money to the employee in the Inland Empire that they would pay them if they were working in their LA office or their Orange County office? If they match the pay in the Inland Empire as what they pay in Orange County and LA, you may find that we have more workers than we know what to do with. And the key to anybody's success and growth is workers. We've made an effort of trying to pay our staffs a little bit more than some. And as a result of it, we've had a little bit better choices. So my advice to the employers of the Inland Empire is pay the same wages as Orange County, and you'll steal all the best people.
Absolutely. And I have to echo that sentiment because I was recently at the student panel presentations for San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools, where the students are addressing some of the things that they would like to have implemented in their educational world. And let me tell you, that night I slept so good because I can tell you our future is bright. We have brilliant young minds at the helm of our future, and it all begins with education. And we have the most exquisite, the most dedicated leaders in our educational system with Ted Alejandre leading San Bernardino County. So employers, if you're listening, we're no longer the best kept secret, or I should say the Inland Empire is no longer the best kept secret, but thank you so much for sharing that. And Dana, please share what you would like to see in the next 5 to 10 years in your career in the Inland Empire region.
I would like to be a part and contribute to the growth, kind of like Mike talked about, integrating more mixed use and development. And I would like to be included on that, to be honest, be part of it, be spearheading it, be creating ideas for it and everything as well. So being involved in partnering with other development companies, other families, other businesses that are looking to grow here and spearhead our own growth as well too, and be a driving force for that in this market because it's here. We know it's here and we have the expertise and the people and the staff to be able to help facilitate that even further.
Beautiful. So as you look at the next, let's say 5 decades, Dana, because you're very young yourself,
I'll be there. I'm not going anywhere.
I didn't say you were going anywhere.
5 decades would be good. That'd be a good run.
What would you like to see? Because, your father, Mr. Rademaker, established a very strong foundation to grow upon. I mean, where do you see this, if you can imagine that far ahead, going?
For the Inland Empire?
Yes.
I think I see a lot of development opportunities out here, and I think that goes in all arenas. I think it goes for commercial with like recreational, with industrial, with everything out here, with hotels. More people are going to be needing to stay out here because we also have the airport. And so if business is coming here, people are flying out here, you need the airport. We're going to have the bullet train. So people are going to need places to park their car if they're leaving for the weekend. We're going to have more people coming down the hill to commute that way as well, too. I think that there is going to be a huge need for people that want to live out here with residential communities and everything as well. You see homes being built just along the 15 freeway in Rancho, Fontana, Ontario. I could point out almost a dozen of them, kind of thing. And so I think there's going to be a need for more of the infrastructure to support those people, to entertain those people, like with Haven City and Topgolf. I think there's going to be a huge push for everything that the community desires in order for that type of growth.
I love it. And so, Mr. Rademaker, as you move forward in this evolution alongside your daughter, Dana, what are you most excited about? And are there projects on the horizon you're looking forward to?
I think Randall Lewis told me once that, you have to decide what your legacy is going to be. And I haven't really quite figured that out yet, but I'm trying to think about something maybe where I could leave a statement. Maybe I can't leave the size parks or facilities that some have done, but I'd like to maybe make a little legacy in Ontario, but at the same time, maybe create an iconic building, something that will be noticed far, far away, 15 plus stories, restaurants on the top, high-end living in between, offices on the lower scale, retail on the ground floor. 15 plus stories, surrounded by a couple similar sized buildings, all of which I would predict will be in the ground within 3 years.
Wow. When can we anticipate a groundbreaking of this new project, and where approximately can we expect to see it?
Let's just say it'll be in Ontario and it'll be within 3 years.
It'll be within 3 years, groundbreaking within 3 years, and the project will take place in Ontario. And
Yes.
please talk a little bit about what that project is going to look like again.
It'll be probably 15 stories plus in size, restaurants on the top, some executive living right below the restaurant. So that'll be my house. And then we'll have some office buildings up there, which will be our corporate headquarters. Then we'll work our way down to a combination of condos and apartments with some office and retail. It's going to be a complete live-work environment. It's going to be something that is extremely different for the Inland Empire, but not for the world. What we want to do is we want to bring some of the modern technology that we see in places else and bring it to the Inland Empire. We'd like it to be in walking distance of things like the arena, walking distance to get into to the mills, to the projects, somewhere close enough that they can get on a bus or a train and get to the airport. So we want to centralize it right in the heart of Ontario. We want to bring businesses in. We want to create a reason to be here. And we want to know when people fly into Ontario, the first thing they see is that big tower in the sky. And they know it's safe, it's time to come home, it's well lit. And that's something that I want to get accomplished and be out of the ground within 3 years.
I love it. And so you mentioned that this is going to be unique to the Inland Empire, but not to the world. Do you think it will be unique to the state, to California, to Southern California?
I hope so. I hope I can afford to do that. It's on the drawing boards right now, and we're doing some really phenomenal things with it. And it's about making a statement of the Inland Empire, a statement of success, a statement of where we're going, and also I want it to be a nice place to live and work. I don't want to have to drive to work anymore. I want to just go up and down my elevator and go to different spots in the building and kind of live in a little fun little world. That's my goal. That's my objective, and it is my plan to build it. And I will build it here in Ontario. It will be 1 million plus foot in size. It'll be huge. It'll be everything to make the right statement.
Well, that is exciting. How does it make you feel to be a part of such an impactful project, Dana?
Oh, I'm super excited. I'm very fortunate to get to be a part of it from the beginning stages all the way to the end stages, and I look forward to it.
Beautiful. Well, you both have been wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise, the outlook in the region, and your experience in evolving this company and also reframing your view of the region, Dana. We need more of you. We need, our youth to stick around. We don't need the brain drain. We need the brain remain to keep our intellectual gold mines. That's what you are. Intellectual gold mines here in our region to continue to support and serve, businesses, industry, education, the whole 9 yards. So thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
All right. For everybody listening today, don't forget to find us on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Check us out on scbrtalk.com. And don't forget to download the free live streaming app on Google Play and the Apple App Store. All right, everybody, the events coming up. Mark your calendars to attend the 2023 State of the Region, co-hosted by IEEP and San Antonio Regional Hospital, presented by GOC VB this Thursday, March 30th, from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. at the Ontario Convention Center. Tickets are going for $75 now. Also on Thursday, March 30th, the Empire Strikers are going to be playing at the Toyota Arena with a match against the Tacoma Stars with a kickoff at 6:06 and tickets starting at just $5. However, if you are a resident of the city of Fontana, don't forget to ask for your free tickets and represent this Thursday. Inland Pacific Ballet presents The Little Mermaid, an enchanting underwater adventure, April 29th through the 30th at the Lewis Family Playhouse in Rancho Cucamonga, with tickets starting at $32, with senior child group rates available. For reservations and information, please visit ipballet.org. Don't miss my interview with Dr. Rick Axelrod, CEO and president of Livestream Blood Bank. He is a board-certified clinical pathologist. Dr. Axelrod received his medical degree and performed his anatomic and clinical pathology training at Emory University School of Medicine and Emory University affiliated hospitals in Atlanta, Georgia, and also completed a fellowship in transfusion medicine at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles, California, and acquired his MBA at the J.L. Kellogg Graduate School of Management, Northwestern University, Evanston, Illinois. He has served as the Chief Medical Officer for Indiana Blood Center and Senior Director, Division Head, Medical and Clinical Affairs with Abbott Laboratories Diagnostic Division in Abbott Park, Illinois, and has worked in transfusion medicine since 1987. Next week, we will have Jane Epstein. She is a survivor and advocate for survivors of sibling sexual abuse and trauma. Today, Jane is co-founder of 5waves.org, an international 501c3 advocacy group that offers information, support, and guidance about sibling sexual abuse and trauma at siblingsexualtrauma.com, in addition to her 2022 TEDx talk entitled Giving Voice to Sibling Sexual Abuse. She has already reached over 298,000 people, and her story was featured in the October 31st, 2022 issue of People magazine. Now, Jane shares her story publicly to give other survivors the courage to speak up and know they are not alone. She seeks to educate and empower parents on preventing sibling sexual abuse and trauma in order to help remove the fear of the unknown and make body-safe discussions between parents and children an everyday conversation. So we will see you next week. You do not want to miss it.